Hey, mighty good friends. Welcome back to a mighty good interview. Today, I have the lovely Cyndi Cummings, who I have known for a very long time, and I'm pleased to call her my friend and colleague and collaborator. And I was just telling her she's kind of a force of nature here in Austin and the Austin area, making a real difference for older adults in a lot of different capacities. But today, we're going to talk to Cyndi a little bit about Chariot, which used to be Drive a Senior here in the Central Texas area. And I will, as she is the board secretary, and I will let her tell you a little bit about it. And we'll find out more about what they do in their programs.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here this morning on this rainy Friday, which is so unusual in Austin. But I'm a member of lots of different groups that help older adults in Austin. And one of my favorite is Chariot. And Chariot is a driving program. And basically what we do is we help older adults get from here to there. And it's for people who can't drive any longer or choose not to drive. And so what's interesting about that is we have some very young people, and then we have new people, some people who are 90 who said, I probably still could drive, but I think it would be better if I let somebody else drive me. And we mostly serve the southern part of Austin. We go out to Dripping Springs, to Lakeway, Westlake, and then all of South Austin. And we merged with another Drive a Senior into the Elgin area. And so we kind of jump over a couple zip codes to get to Elgin, but those are the areas that we serve. And it's so rewarding both for our volunteers and for the people that we serve. We're mostly volunteer driven. And of course, during COVID, lots of things changed. We had people who didn't feel comfortable being driven. We had people who didn't feel comfortable driving, but we're over it all and we're back driving. And like I said, it's a great way to form new relationships with older adults.
That's wonderful. Tell me a little bit about who can volunteer, how you volunteer, how did they find out about rides, all that good stuff.
So as a volunteer, we've changed some stuff because of COVID. We used to have where you had to come in and do training. Now we can do training on Zoom. So that's great. So you don't have to come in for 4 hours. We can do training pretty quickly over a Zoom call. Of course, we're going to check your background. We're going to check your driving history. Once we've gone through all that, we have a portal that you go to and you look in the portal and you say, today I'm not going to work. I really feel like giving back to the community. Who needs a ride? And you can see who needs a ride, their name, where they're going from, where they're going to, about how long it will take. And then you just select a ride. And then I know it's super easy. I love all this technology. And then the older adult is notified that you'll be coming and you'll be picking them up. Typically, you'll go to the door and help them. It's not like a honk kind of thing. You're going to go to the door, help them. And normally they'll need some kind of assistance, to get into the car. You hop in the car, you take them to wherever they're going. Sometimes you're going in with them if you choose. Sometimes you're just waiting in the car. Sometimes you're dropping off and you're coming back. So it really just varies. What we find is volunteers find their favorite older adult, and they always just look for them and figure out where they need to go that week. And you can choose your rides way in advance. It doesn't have to be on the day of. And so you pretty much know, okay, Miss Sally wants to go get her hair done here. She's got a doctor appointment here and she needs to go to the grocery store. So you can just choose who you want to drive for, how much time. It's super easy, super, super easy.
One of the things I love about sort of your model, the Chariot model, is that relationship building piece of it. It's such a big part of who we are at A Mighty Good Time is we want people to connect with each other. And this is such an interesting way for people to do that, to actually get to really know somebody and be helpful to someone. But for some of these older adults, this may be the only contact they have during the day.
It is. And I'll tell you, the relationships that are formed are like family relationships. Pretty soon you're going to lunch, even when it's not going through the portal. You're sharing gifts, at birthday time and at Christmas time. The stories that we've heard from volunteers are beyond heartwarming. And we have some of those on our website at chariot.org. But just, for some people, they don't have an older adult who lives in the city. And so it gives them an opportunity to be able to have that same kind of relationship. We have younger people who their grandparents live in Florida or someplace like that, but they still want that relationship. And they also kind of feel like they're giving back, and it could be reciprocal for their older adult in Florida. They feel like, okay, if I do this here, maybe somebody would do that there, kind of thing. So
I love that. That's a really, really interesting way to give back for something that you're receiving, which is, part of volunteering, right? One of the reasons a lot of us volunteer. What are some of the reasons an older adult might not be able to drive, that they would need this kind of service?
I think vision oftentimes, and in my work, I'm a realtor. When I go and meet with somebody, they'll say, hey, I can't stay in my house any longer because I can't drive to the store and get my food or get to my doctor's or whatever. And then we have opportunities now. Now we have Instacart. So, just being able to have Instacart deliver, or having somebody who could just drive them a couple places here and there, it can make all the difference for them, and being able to stay in their home. And that's really what we're all about, is for our older adults to be able to keep their independence. So I think vision is the number one. I think another is confidence. I think our roads have changed so much. We have so much traffic. It's really scary to drive. Although they're completely competent, it just like they don't have the confidence because people are going 80 miles an hour now, and so they just feel like I could harm somebody. They don't want to hurt somebody. They don't want to get in an accident and hurt a young, mother with a child. So they make that decision. It's a hard decision. So that's another. I think finances now too, just being able to have a car and insurance, and it's expensive. And if you're trying to cut back your expenses, if you could cut back a couple $100 a month, that could make the difference for you remaining independent too. And in a lot of the areas that we're going, there is no public transportation. There's not carts, there's not something like that. And so we do talk about other methods of being able to get from hither to there, too. So when we talk to somebody, we'll say, hey, you're right on the line. You might be able to take cards, or this could be an option, or whatever. But for many of our clients, there's not another option. So that's, we're just kind of picking up the slack.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting for people who don't work in this population, and realizing how crucial and integral transportation is to everything else, to your medical well-being, to making sure you get the right groceries, to make sure that you get the connection with other people, going to the senior center, those kinds of things. It's so integral to our lives. And like I said,
it's a basic need. If you don't have transportation, then you're not getting to all these other places. One of our big goals, though, is the social piece of it too. And we know how important it is to be social and to do things, and how that can improve your health and your well-being. So there are other drive programs where they will drive you for medical appointments, which we absolutely do that. We've got people who don't go for cancer treatment, dialysis on a regular program. But we really believe that we want to help you get to a senior center, let's say, for example, for activities there. Or we do group rides. So we've got some vans. You'll see some of the vans out there, and they say Chariot on it, which I love, our new brand, Chariot. Who doesn't want to be picked up by Chariot? but we do group rides, and we go to grocery stores. And before COVID, it would be on Tuesday, we were in Oak Hill. Wednesday, we were in Lakeway. Thursday, like we had a normal routine. COVID came, our routine got out of play, but now we're back, so we're starting to do all those group rides. One of the things that we've done is the trail lights.
Fun.
How fun is that? I mean, I want to go. Who wouldn't want to just be in a bus and drive through trail lights and not worry about tripping and falling and all that? So we've done trail lights, and we've done some other, group activities like that.
I love that. I have heard some of the stories about people making friends on the bus, and they go grocery shopping together, and those kinds of. That's what a gift. What a gift. Well, if people want to volunteer, or if they need a ride, where should they go?
They just go to chariot.org, and once you get there, you'll see a place for people who need rides, and then you'll see a place for people who want to volunteer. And we actually have relationships with many volunteer groups. The Junior League of Austin was a project of ours, and so we're hoping that someday soon we can be one of their projects again. But here you have volunteers with their children able to drive older adults. And the National Charity League, that's one of the groups that we work with also. And then there's some young, I'm forgetting their name, but some clubs for young men and their mothers at high schools. And that name has escaped me. So if you have a child and you want to get them involved, you can do it through the groups that you already belong with. We already have relationships, so that's super easy. You don't have to go through the portal and get registered through there. For many people, just make a phone call. Just go ahead and give us a call. And we do an intake basically. So we visit with the older adult, make sure that they're a good match. We're not able to do wheelchair rides, for example. You know, there's some things like that. We do have some people that have memory cognitive issues, and they get rides just as easily as anybody else. We have some special training for that. So I would just say, go to the website. You can learn more about us, watch some of our videos, and we would love any kind of help that we could get. But we also want to put it out there that we can help people too. So.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Cyndi, for all you do and for the work of Chariot, because I know how important it is in this community in particular. So for any of our friends out there, if you want to volunteer and give back in the Central Texas area, please do check out chariot.org. Volunteering is a fantastic way to stay active and engaged, and just fill your soul in a really beautiful way and make a big difference in someone else's life. So thank you, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.